Of the Starladder I-League Chinese qualifiers stage 1. We are into our second match now, a bit behind schedule, but into game 1 of VG Gaming Potential versus Esport Dream. So, looking forward to this one actually. I've seen Esport Dream play a couple of times, and you always got to root for the underdog. These guys really seem like they just want to do their best, put on a good show, and obviously make it as far as they can in the esport world. But VG.P, I mean, these guys are pseudo-sponsored. They obviously have the VG Gaming A team taking them under their wing and most likely screwing with them as partners. And then, in general, I just love to watch VG.P. I have to admit I'm a little bit of a fanboy of theirs just because the way they play Dota, it just makes a lot of sense. Like when you look at their decision making, it's so acute. It's so direct. It just knows exactly where it wants to be, and it moves forward. At least the games where they win. Obviously, their results still have some issues, and they had some issues in the TI5 qualifiers as well as even the Frankfurt Major qualifier. But still, I gotta say, I think that they are one of the more underrated teams in the scene, at least the last time I checked them out, and hopefully they're doing well here. So, without further ado, let's get into the draft of game number 1 between these two teams. I myself am Blaze, and looking at the opener here, we've got Night Stalker, Spirit Breaker banned out by VG.P, Slardar, and Doom taken out by Esports Dream. That leaves Tusk and Shadowfiend for Phase 1 VG. And the second pick, Darkseer Wyvern combo. So Tusk was the first pick, Darkseer Wyvern the response, SF the conclusion of Phase 1. But with the bans of Queen of Pain Gyrocopter, that AoE teamfight that synergizes so well with the Darkseer, we're actually going to be seeing the Ember Spirit picked up instead and looking for that mid to late game battle fury. In response, we're seeing the Disruptor ban, which is, the glimpse factor on Darkseer, as well as the Static Storm that we saw previous game against that Ember Spirit. Deathsol, on the other hand, is a pretty interesting ban, mostly just because Vici are lacking supports right now, and they could go for a bit of negative armor, even without the Slardar. Speaking of negative armor, we're actually going to be seeing Templar Assassin here as the matchup in the mid. SF is pretty good in a lot of matchups and can even do decently against the TA. The thing is, there's really limited kill potential against Templar Assassin unless you bring in a new alternative to a support. Because as it stands right now, Tusk, Shadowfiend, they do a lot of damage, they catch out TA, but if she's full HP with a refraction, she's going to be dropping down to low HP, and if she has a second refraction based on the cooldown timing, she can even turn it. Like, she has so much potential against these two heroes because their inability to break through refraction. So it's going to be on VG.P to alleviate that with some good multiple instances of damage output. And I'm not sure exactly who that should be. We see heroes like Venomancer, Jakiro picked up for this purpose. I like Ochre Magi personally, but I'm not sure it works with the lineup they have on hand. They're actually going to go a different route and go for the Undying here, and just solidify their dual lane. Since they know TA is going to be on the mid, and is going to, break even with SF, and then it comes down to who's stacking more in their own jungle, we actually get to see instead an aggressive dual lane from VG.P, going with the Undying and the Tusk to that off lane. That really suits dogfight support style, getting right up in the thick of things. This guy is, the support Night Stalker, the guy that gets up in your face and punches you to until you just can't see straight. So I think Dogfights is going to be taking up one of these more aggressive supports. Either the Tusk or the Undying could play the 4 position, but it's much more likely to be the Undying, letting the Tusk move in for some bigger and better items. Anyways, knowing this, we're going to see Ember Spirit Wyvern presumably on the safe lane against the Undying Tusk, and we have one hero yet to be picked up that kind of should levy the 3v2 against those two heroes. Witch Doctor is one that I really like in this case,
10 seconds remaining.
But it doesn't have that good of control against the Juggernaut, so I'm not sure if they want an alternative for that. There's a lot of damage flying out, so I always like to look at heroes like Visage, but they're just not as common these days. And a lot of other supports have been banned out, actually. A huge cast of supports have been taken off the table already, so it's not as easy to deal with this, but VG Gaming Potential are going to be able to last pick knowing exactly what esports have up their sleeve. Already pretty clear and transparent with the Darkseer Wyvern opener and the Ember Spirit follow-up, but now it comes down to the laning phase, I would say. And VG Gaming still have a lot of potential in their hands as well. I mean, their support pool will be thinned by this last pick by Esports Dream, but their lanes can be pretty dynamic and can really just press the attack wherever there's the greatest advantage. We're going to see Bounty Hunter come out here, so really what we're looking at is dual lane pressuring dual lane. The reason that this can be very powerful is because of the Shadow Fiend's innate weakness in the early game. Bane coming out here for that final pick for VG.P will really work well with the Juggernaut. Bane and Undying don't really see eye to eye all the time, as the Tombstone zombies immediately break Nightmare, but Bane with Juggernaut, Bane with SF, there's a lot of potential there, and then in the later stages, that Fiend's Grip can be so strong against heroes like Ember and TA. That being said, I kind of like what Esports Stream are doing with this Bounty Hunter pick, because what you can do is essentially put out so much pressure in your off lane that the Undying has one of two choices. He either leaves the bottom lane and lets the Tusk solo, or you sacrifice the Shadow Fiend, because you're not stacking for the Shadow Fiend because the Bane is preoccupied with what's going on top, and then as soon as the Bounty Hunter leaves, he has a gank potential on the Shadow Fiend, who's considered relatively squishy. That's the general mindset why I think Bounty Hunter is strong, with that dual lane of Darkseer and the Iron Shell, etc. But I think VG.P are, if I remember their roster well enough, I think that this might still be... Oh, come on. Please tell me there's no lag in this one. We just had such a clean, perfect world-free game with all the lag minimized, but we'll see. Hopefully it's clearing up now as we get that disconnect and reconnect. But let me talk about this a little bit more. Last I saw VG.P, it was Yang that was playing... No, he played Strength offlane. Okay, so... Yeah, Yang likes a lot of the Strength offlaners. Fan was the safe lane farmer for a while. Like, he played PL and Juggernaut and Gyrocopter and stuff like that. Now it seems like Jixing is taking the safe lane role while the SF is taking the mid. And in fact, they might even be looking to dodge out the dual lane of the Darkseer Bounty Hunter. So what this would imply is a Juggernaut Bane on the bottom lane, the Undying rotating where he's needed, and the Tusk starting in the safe lane. But it's hard to call. For now, what they're going to do is they're going to all go as a single unit moving in towards the bottom area. You're going to see them kind of approach this general area to try to keep it covered and maybe try to find a snowball. But as you can see, lines are being drawn on the map to the north as well for ESD, so there's a good chance that both teams will scout out the enemy's jungle. VG.P will get some great wards out onto the pole, since there's so many good spots to block out the Radiant spawn, and otherwise not much will happen in the level 1 clash. But we're going to see this TP come out, and that could change things. The Winder Wyvern can go over trees with the Arctic Burn, but she's still very slow at 285 MS. So if she gets caught out by the snowball, she could be in some real trouble, and line of sight is going to be the key here. If the Radiant Ward sees them in time, as it does, it should be LL's ability to just get right safe and sound under the tower, no problem. And now they see the movement, and maybe even see the wards. We'll check Radiant Vision here. As we see, maybe the wards come down. They see them move in that area, but no wards have been placed, so no, they won't know what's blocking what. They're pinging out the probable spot being right here, but obviously it could be just about anything. And it's actually going to be this one. Jeez.
30 seconds to battle.
Anywho, talking plenty about wards. We're going to see that spawn either locked or unlocked. Either way, I think ESD are going to be okay, because they're spreading the map with the Bounty Hunter and getting experience in new avenues. Is it going to be a Bounty Rune snipe attempt from the Bounty Hunter? Yeah, this is a perfect timing. Walking up here at 7 seconds. I think the Fate Time might have been scouted by VG.P, but it looks like they aren't dropping sentries. And it is going to be going to the Shadow Fiend. Bounty Hunter breaks his invis. Fan picks up the Bounty Rune. And that's going to be that. 1 for 1 as the TA picks up her own. So, yep. Fen's Shadow Fiend going to be taking the mid. Juggernaut, Jixing, top lane with the Bane X. This leaves Yang on the offlane Tusk, and dogfights on the offlane Undying. Mangoes galore. But, that being said, we still have the ESD side to look at. We've got Carrot here, running on the Darkseer offlane. Going to be pressured a little bit here by Nightmare and Spins and so on and so forth, but overall going to be getting some decent farm out of the lane. Not as much as you'd like, since the Juggernaut can spin on the Iron Shield too, but, you know, here and there he'll get some good momentum. He'll definitely get a Soul Ring at least. Meantime, LL and the Wyvern, as well as Adong, moving to bottom lane, going to be trying to put out some pressure here. They have to avoid the double decay, but otherwise they can put a lot of damage into this Tusk, who's skilled Ice Shards level 1, and they know it. So it would be Yang's that's the most vulnerable. And, a little bit of lag, maybe, as they're pausing themselves out. Kale. Anyways, we've got pretty hot and heavy exchanges here on the mid lane as Shadow Fiend finds himself 4-0, but at a significant HP deficit. Templar Assassin really getting involved and getting some good hits in. And that is going to be, trading. The Healing Salve will bring the SF back up, and he's probably just happy to have 4 Necromastery this early on. Might even get a deny here against the TA as he pulls back as well. As a Templar Assassin under a Creep Wave is a very unhappy one. Nightmare is actually going to be coming out here onto the dark side. This is plenty of time for the Juggernaut to get here, though it's only, of course, a level 1 spin. No Brain Sap either, so I'm going to look bottom real quick, but I don't think they have any real kill potential against this Juggernaut. I'm just going to be putting some heavy hits in. As I say that, he's taking a lot. He went to the east. Carrot, where are you going? I feel like he could have just ran south to his tower. He might have been dove. I don't know. Either way, yeah, first blood's going to come out for the Bane. And Carrot just respawns and maybe heading over to the jungle. In the meantime, Dogfights isn't going to be going down. He's going to be A-okay. Nice little decay play there, and he'll be healed up. So, unexpected. I felt like they would go on the Tusk, who only had Ice Shards there, and he would have been the easier target than the decaying Undying. And I really felt the Darkseer could have just walked out of that one, but gets just too well blocked, maybe by Jixing. If Jixing gets in front of him thanks to Nightmare and gets the spin-off, then it becomes much more difficult to get out of that situation. Bounty Hunter roaming around would get a lot of value out of a Sentry Ward, but it looks like he's already used both of them. Yeah, so the Radiant Sentry Wards came down here as well as here, and this allows the Bounty Hunter to engage on the bottom lane, but it didn't unlock their pull. And overall, it's put him in a spot where he can't really close in on the mid lane. Found at very low HP, 111 HP in fact. And that is going to be him obviously ferrying up some regen. The problem is, will the timing be before the 3-minute mark or after? As we now see, I'll make sure nothing's happening bottom first, but we'll see the Courier Snipe coming through here. We're actually going to see the Courier Snipe by the Bounty Hunter will be surely happening, but look at Wakesy taking so much damage here. The Magic Stick barely healing him back up, and the zombies will be killed off. Oh, so close to killing him. Yang, one more hit required. The Ice Shards come through, and they will finish the job. The Marksman here doing what he needs to do. So the Ember Spirit will fall, and Yang will slip out of there just narrowly. But in the meantime, yeah, that Bounty Hunter, of course, finding the Courier Snipe
Dire's middle tower
here,
is under attack.
And then the SF having to go back because he was so low on HP. That's the bottle as well. Fawn no longer has the bottle available, and that's going to be really hurting his mid potential, needless to say. Sorry guys, Kale has struck again. It's perfect world lag. Not as bad as the first game of the first match, but still a little bit difficult to cast, and you'll just have to bear with me. So this Bounty Hunter already at least getting some work done with the Courier Snipe, really hurting Fawn, but I want to see this Bounty Hunter actually start to progress himself. Where does he get experience? How does he find his way to level 6? As he's even lower experience per minute than the Bane. We're going to see Yang here, has both spells available. He's going to go for the Snowball momentarily. Ice Shards onto Wakesy, who has a lot of zombies on him. 4 zombies stacking up with the Cold Embrace while he kills the Tombstone. LL making the plays happen. Is it enough with the Searing Chains? The disengage is there, but Yang is waiting for another Ice Shard Snipe. Has enough burst damage. If he can just be on the mark, no. He's too high of HP now. Wakesy would survive, and in fact, Yang taking some unnecessary hits under tower. So LL being the one to save him. If Wakesy gets hit by both the K and Ice Shards, then that would be a problem, but no. It will not happen. So I really like the Cold Embrace and killing the Tombstone, even though the Wyvern is pretty slow attack speed and, of course, attack range without Arctic Burn. It's still, he buys enough time and they are able to neutralize that offensive. Back on mid, Fawn. In 12 seconds we'll be coring out both bottle and boots, but for now, he is just having to play very far back. Still finding decent CS, but the TA's got about a 50% lead on him. Bounty Hunter's just going to be stalking up the polling action here. He's going to get the 50% of the neutral experience and then make sure that he can't chain pull, meaning this creep wave will be heavily pushing momentarily. But instead of Leech getting that experience, he maybe leaves the Darkseer to TP up there to get it, and instead he makes his way towards mid where he tries to go for another courier snipe. He's got Janata, he's got Orb of Venom. Does he have the hit here? One hit, and this is why you don't speed burst, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my. Against a Bounty Hunter and a Nature's Prophet, Speed Burst is a cooldown you have to cherish. And Speed Bursting, just for the sake of Speed Bursting, is going to get your donkey killed, just like that.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Now mid, Dire Observer Ward, scouting out the TA, but what can the Undying do here? Oh, with the Nightmare, certainly a lot. They can definitely collaborate here with every hero coming in. The snowball forward, right into the Tombstone, and that is going to be one dead Templar Assassin if they've got the Sentry. And indeed, she's still in Sentry range. She will be killed off. So a great kill for VG.P as they find their third, but it is, a 4-man rotation. It is pretty expensive. Losing out the couriers twice, along with having to rotate 4 heroes, you're still going to see net worth not that much in their favor despite being 3-0. And in the meantime, this leaves Wakesy to free farm on the Ember Spirit. Darkseer making his way there. I gotta say, I'm not impressed with the Darkseer play from Carrot, though. I mean, going to the jungle immediately, I can't judge too much whether or not that level 1's Nightmare spin could've, would've, should've killed him. I didn't see it because there was action happening on bottom, but I feel like that shouldn't normally happen. Adong actually going under tower and getting killed by the SF, but if they can kill him in turn, it'll make it well worth it. As the Bounty Hunter doesn't get the experience, but sets up TA for further momentum. It seems to be the story of the game. The Bounty Hunter gets screwed, but it's all for the greater good. Carrot here. Oh, now that's a kill that will happen to you. If you get caught by Nightmare with Jixing having the ultimate, yeah, that is going to be a very dead Darkseer. And of course, I think he popped the Mango to get the Omni Slash out, but even still, great momentum for Jixing. You'll see some good warding trying to counter out some stack play. Here, this one just scouts out the Shadow Fiend stacks, but still they obviously want to do something with it once it's at critical mass. And then we're seeing this Observer and Sentry duo that make sure that they can get their ward out exactly where they want it to. This is going to block off the spawn, and the stack will be useless for the Templar Assassin. On top of that, they now know the TA went top, and they're going to try to punish her with it. Haste Rune was picked up on the bottom by the Tusk, but we're actually seeing TA getting caught out a little bit here. Either way, she checks out her stacks, realizes that that's not happening. So she's going to go for a very slow jungle. And while I don't think that VG.P are going to jump up this, snowball up this cliff, it's still going to be a very slow route of farm for TA, who was otherwise crushing her early game, thanks to the Bounty Hunter. Now she's even in CS, the Shadow Fiend, who just farmed up this huge stack and is going to take care of this one too. And overall, just things really looking up. I don't know why I thought that was haste. Okay, Tusk had haste earlier, but now it's invis. Whoops. Either way, that might be a get Eldra free card for Yang, as we do see no detection right now on ESD. Here, Bounty Hunter stalking up the Shadow Fiend. TA could definitely go on this with him. Orb of Venom to the Janata, as well as the Trap, and Fawn dropping low. But there's going to be a Soul Rip here. Soul Rip? Dogfights? Hello? Okay. Obviously, I'm the one lagging, not them, but it feels like that definitely was an opportunity to force them to push further. I mean, the Soul Rip would have definitely healed him a significant degree, maybe like 150 HP, and then you get the Tombstone behind him. I'm not saying it's absolutely guaranteed saves him, but it certainly would have helped, and he just didn't cast it at all. Alright, so we got Juggernaut farming up his Battle Fury rather quickly. Ember Spirit on the same track, but a little bit slower. But just look at net worth here. It's 4,500 for the Jug, only 3k for the Ember Spirit. And the Ember Spirit's the one who got the courier snipes on his team, so he should be profiting more. But he's just not had the best start here, and we're actually going to see a nice follow-up here. Nice Winter's Curse, but do they have the damage? They'll kill off the Undying, but who is next? It's going to be Yang, who gets nuked down, and that puts Bounty Hunter to 6, skills up track, and looks for it onto the Bane. This gives them a movement speed boost, and they're going to slow X down for a 4-man track. This is going to be so much gold going their way when they get this kill, and that's going to be the TA double as well. Oh my gosh, a 4-man track kill at this point in the game. It's just suddenly the net worth will go flying. And Fawn might be caught out here by the Searing Chains. In fact, he will. And while there will be a TP from the Undying, I don't think this has any chance of saving him. And that's going to be dogfights going down as well. Another track kill. ESD blowing this game wide open off of one team fight. That's the strength of the Bounty Hunter. The Battle Ding. Level up in the midst of the fray, and the tracks go flying. Suddenly 800 gold! This guy did nothing but snipe 2 couriers this whole game. Goes for 1 or 2 good rotations, finds an opportunity to collaborate with the TA, but then suddenly he jumps up to level 6. He gets a few tracks off and gets 800 gold for himself through track almost exclusively. That is insane. That is a hell of a hero. You can say they've nerfed track gold, and they have. They have nerfed how much gold allies get. It's only 40 bonus gold. But you get 200 for yourself for each and every one. And suddenly this guy is 5th in net worth. It's still just absolutely insane. And, yeah, he's going to be doing so much work the rest of the game. Can go Blink Dagger or Guardian Greaves. I guess the mechanism will be in the hands of the Darkseer. Later rather than sooner, due to his poor start, but he'll get there. And that leaves the Bounty Hunter probably going for like a mechanism, or sorry, a Blink Dagger. I really don't know what else. Magic Wand, Arcanes, and Blink is kind of your staple, and then you can look for like a Solar Crest. That's pretty good. Orchid is possible, but probably not ideal. For now, wards, and more wards. We're gonna see this tower glyphed. Jixing in a little bit of trouble here. The healing ward will help him out, but he has to hold on to this Omni Slash and be ready to fight at a moment's notice, because Adong is stalking and looking for an opportunity here. 1 track on the Bane, and then you can shuriken them both and cancel a potential Fiend's Grip. Could be very strong. Fawn has no TP either, so yeah, top lane is very vulnerable right now, but it looks like ESD are going to play it back a little bit. And Desolator is complete for the TA. Off of that fight. That one fight to rule them all. And like I said, this is a weak point up top. At least they have the TP on the Shadow Fiend now. Well, yeah, everybody on the Dire has TPs. So if there's a tower dive, it'll be addressed. But even trades will profit the track. We're actually going to see a TP away. Oh no. The Bane is gone. And the Juggernaut is still here. What the what? I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. But yeah, so they TP back down bottom. They're trying to force the fight onto Yang and then follow it up. But in the end, it's just going to be split push versus split push. Tower versus tower. TA takes it down quickly with the Desolator. But SF shouldn't take too long either. He's got 82 bonus damage right now. Yeah, I don't know what the plan was there. I think he wanted to Obs ward. Yeah, I feel like he tried to switch his wards to Obs and throw one down, but even that's a little bit weird. Anyways, he's got the Cold Embrace helping out the push on the tier 2 top, and it's going to be, it looks like a full engagement here. VG.P can really just start rallying. The Bane's TP is on cooldown for 20 more seconds, and it looks like the cores look to just keep farming. Do they go for the Roche? That is definitely an option, but the Ember Spirit has scouted out in the pit. There's no TA trap there, but there is an Ember Remnant. Tier 2's already gone, so they have to make a decision soon. They can't just keep flip-flopping and losing their objectives. It's just taking too much away from them. Double damage rune on the Shadow Fiend. They have to make a play soon. I'm not sure about this Ember Spirit's Remnant. Looks like it's timing out in just a second here. Oh, just timed out if they want to go for the Roshan. But they don't have any sentries in play, and that makes it very difficult to enter the pit. Especially with a track on you. So, you can't really play it cool and casual here. They know that you're all about Roshan. There's no way a Bane is just sitting in the river like that. Even if the track doesn't give vision, they know where the Bane is. So they know the overall movements of VG.P right now, and they're ready to react to it. I think Blink Dagger maybe next for the TA could create some great opportunities. I mean, they do have the mechanism on the Darkseer, so if he can get to this fight quickly enough, they're ready to fight. We see Sentry as well as Dust coming out here, and the TA trap just dropped right in. Yeah, they're lucky that that actually got placed just then, because they otherwise wouldn't be able to clear it out. I think it was just outside of the range. But it fails to fade away, they kill it off, and now it's just kind of a demilitarized zone. Neither side really able to enter into it, and just both holding themselves just on the outside, ready to fight if either one steps a toe out of line. We've got 4K net worth favoring ESD, just pulling ahead so far off of that one fight, at only like 13 minutes in the game. Now with about a 1200 experience, the only lead. ESD continue to spread the map, to split push, and really just to overall take better trades. Blink Dagger is now up for the Templar Assassin thanks to those tower last hits. We will see, however, the Fiend's Grip under Sentry kill off the Bounty Hunter. That's going to be 374 gold from the killing spree. And Undying will buy himself a shiny Urn of Shadows with that one. That being said, really doesn't put them back in the driver's seat, and TA takes another tower, which is the better trade again. Tusk is working his way towards that mechanism. We'll find it about 450 gold, but in the meantime, I feel like ESD are just taking over the map. That Ember Spirit's gonna have... Oh, sorry about that. Blink, Meld, Strike. Wow. That was obviously a very heavy burst, but Juggernaut I think was on low HP there. That wouldn't have been a kill otherwise. We do see the vacuum canceling out the Requiem. He still gets a good amount of damage on Wakesy, but now caught inside the Winter's Curse. LL doing some good damage here, but no one to finish it. It's going to be the TA who tries to go in, and she will get it with the help of that Splinter Blast. We're going to see a nice jump in from Wakesy. A huge Searing Chains onto 2. And that's going to kill off Yang. But where are they going to be able to get more out of it? I already got the track kill. There's one more track in play. But they're just going to ward him off the tower and take him down quick. So, Bounty Hunter still net 0 even if he gets picked off there. And actually Wyvern doing most of the damage there. That Arctic Burn and double Splinter Blast really adds up quick. Good damage from the SF2, but they're just so far behind. They don't have any survivability without that mechanism. So, I know the slideshow Dota isn't the ideal watching experience. It's unfortunately the perfect world deal. Just a quick explanation, as there are still some people that aren't as experienced with this kind of thing. Like, it's essentially whenever Western casters try to connect to Dota TV for Chinese games, their Great Firewall of China creates conflicts, and just depending on routing, essentially you can get a perfectly crystal clear, crisp feed, or you can get this choppy nonsense. And game 2 we were lucky, game 3 not so much. Not so sure. I mean, sometimes I can restart it, but we've already had so many restarts and technical hiccups that I just want to let this one play out, although it is a little difficult to play by play and catch all the action. Anyways, we've got 4 staff up for LL. Really favors this item on the Wyvern over like the Blink Dagger or the Glimmer Cape, which is more common. Look at this damage! The crit! Holy sh! That double damage rune is just insane. The 2-shot coming out from Templar Assassin there. Meld Desolator all at once, taking him down, and that's just this glass cannon build of this. If he even went power treads, he has a better chance of getting the Omni Slash off there. But no, he goes for the Phase Boots, the Battle Fury, and the Band of Elven Skin, and none of this is helping him survive the immense damage output of this Desolator TA. Great performance from him. And these kills that shouldn't happen are happening, and suddenly VG.P are in a really bad spot. The pit cannot be contested against the TA trap. The farming anywhere on like the western half of the jungle is cut off thanks to the gank potential of the Bounty Hunter and the TA. And, you know, 5-manning down a lane and taking a tower is very difficult when you can't find the Wyvern or the Darkseer. The Darkseer who is not only a mechanism, but now a Hand of Midas. So we'll look at a big fight potentially here. 6-1-5, Templar Assassin was leading, but she might just go right into the pit if they feel confident there. There is a nice little Observer Ward, but it is just on the lip of the Sentry Ward. And maybe next time they'll check the replay, put it out a little bit to the side. Look at this move. 100 HP tower. Come at me. Come get some. We'll see the glyph pop, but in the end it will fall. And as soon as that happens, they're like, that Juggernaut's not doing that alone. We'll go ahead and take Roshan. No problem at all. And I don't think VG.P can do it in time, even with the smoke. They have a haste rune on the SF. He can get there in time, but his teammates not so much. We're going to see Juggernaut here. Will he try to be the one to open this up? Because he could easily be Winter's Curse, and that would be disastrous. But here we are. Roshan only half HP, and we're going to see that snowball in. Past Adong onto Carrot, trying to burst him down, but he gets the mech off, looking for the vacuum wall. It's going to be the Winter's Curse onto Shadow Fiend, and everybody's taking damage. Yang gets healed up by the Soul Rip and the mechanism, but it's still going to be the Shadow Fiend that does most of the damage with that Requiem. He'll go down soon, but maybe not if the TA is still in that Fiend's Grip. He BKB'd, he got Cold Embraced, but the Fiend's Grip held him aloft for a long period of time. But in the end, that Cold Embrace is enough to keep him alive throughout till the very, very end. They keep hitting, they keep dealing damage, they keep fighting, and in the end they take down all 5. Very nice. Bounty Hunter, it seems, fought back during all that, but the main damage source coming out, Amber Spirit and the TA, in spite of taking a full, uninterrupted Fiend's Grip. The fact that she survived with BKB Cold Embrace means she's able to just turn it back around, kill off everyone. They're all dead. And now we have the Roshan going down. Tempted snipe, but that's not going to happen. Might get a vent return kill onto Adong, though. And that snowball, there's no way out. That's a one-way ticket to hell if he just gets nuked down by everyone, as you would expect. The mechanism keeps him up a little bit longer, but in the end, it's a track kill for 3. The zombies doing some good hits, but it looks like Adong will limp away and turn invis. Wakeseat did lose the Aegis out of it, though, so you gotta give him the hashtag worth it. Popping the Aegis there. While the Aegis isn't the biggest deal on Ember Spirit, because he's not like pushing with it, it's still, I would have to say it's worth it. Because if you can't focus down the Ember in a fight, then you don't win that fight. So I feel like it's a necessary loss and a good overall trade from VG.P. One of the first this game. They'll plateau out the experience graph, the net worth, here and towards 7,500. They just need more. They need more openings. They need to find more opportunities. They're running out of smokes, though. They pick up a gem on dogfights. They've got a smoke on X. And those two things have to start doing work very shortly. Ember Spirit. Free cleave hits. Just to farm up a creep wave and annoy the hell out of a Juggernaut at the same exact time. And that's going to force him to farm more inefficiently, hiding in his jungle. Is more inefficiently the appropriate grammatical syntax? More inefficiently. Less efficiently, I think is probably what I'm looking for there. Anyways, we got a nice little drawing from the Wyvern. LL seems to be calling that they're all hiding. They're all lurking in the shadows and just trying to build themselves up, but ESD, they want to force that. They want to start contesting this position, and it looks like they'll just go for the tier 2 mid. As long as they keep people on the eastern side of the river. Like, honestly, there's a huge difference between hanging out here and hanging out here. This, the cliff, just going down the cliff, you get caught out. Everybody over here, perfectly safe. Everybody over on this side is perfectly safe. And since they know that they were up that hill, anything on the western side of the lane is actually scared shitless. But it looks like they'll be perfectly fine to just take the tier 2 tower as they see the Juggernaut pushing top.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And Ember Spirit's actually going to try to maybe get a cancel here, but honestly, it's not worth it. He'll just do his thing. So this Midas on the dark side, I didn't really get a chance to talk about it. Most of the time I see a Midas fail. Oh, is this a Fiend's Grip? Is this a kill? Oh, it's going to be the Fiend's Grip, but what? Oh no! The Omni Slash fails, but they get the double crit, so it doesn't matter. Fancy meeting you here. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that Omni Slash. I don't think it can't have broken. I feel like that was just another lag glitch. Like, breaking at that distance, I feel it has to bounce back to the Ember Spirit. I'll give him the combat log just to be sure. Juggernaut,
Dire's
you're the
bottom tower
attacker.
is under attack.
How many Omni Slashes did you get off there? One. Just one Omni Slash on the Ember Spirit and 2 on the Siege Creep. So it was far enough away. That's so sad. It's a 6 slash Omni Slash. He hits the Ember Spirit once, jumps over to the Siege Creep that apparently magically is just far enough away. Like, I've never seen a Siege Creep Delta split anything, let alone such a impactful spell like an Omni Slash. I don't know why the distance changed at all, with one target being stationary with Fiend's Grip and one being a friggin' meat wagon. But there you go. Or I guess a Elven Ballista, whatever the fuck. Anyways, so right now we do see VG.P just trying to play a bit of a catch-up game. The Shadow Fiend just farming in his jungle as quickly as can be. Ice armor helping him out a little bit, but overall just flash farming stacks, flash farming waves. Juggernaut obviously finding the double crit there, luckily is able to kill off the Ember Spirit with the help of the Bane. And yeah, they are getting some good progression towards items. Manta Style, pretty important here. But I still feel ESD are in a really good spot. Esports Stream have the tools to initiate, and they're going to look to do so, it looks like, on Yang here. 4-staff Arctic Burn forward, they get the curse, and they will get that kill. Templar Assassin just hitting like a truck. And immediately you call a split push. The Manta Illusions start hitting on this tier 2, but I feel like their high ground might be in jeopardy pretty soon. The only reason that that's not the case is really the Winter's Wyvern's cooldown. 80 seconds on cooldown. It makes it a little bit harder to fight on the high ground here, but I say, well, we may be down a Winter's Curse, but you're down a full Tusk, and that's going to give them at least a prompting to start and pressure the Glyph. I don't think they stick around past the tier 3 tower, maybe not even for the full tier 3 tower, but Fawn going very far forward here, has no BKB, so one Searing Chains and he would be locked in place for the Templar Assassin to chomp him up. But yeah, in the end they don't do much more than chip at the tier 3, pop a Glyph, and head home. But Manta Style, a lot of Manta Styles coming out here. One Manta for the TA, one Manta for the Juggernaut. Is there one that's actually better? It's hard to say. I mean, you can obviously mess with the target party a little bit of the Bane when you Manta. You can break up the Omni Slashes onto multiple targets, though they will still be cleaved on with the attacks that happen in between the Omni Slashes. I mean, overall, pretty good items. Good for a mix of durability and mobility. Gem on the Bounty Hunter. But the Bane has no detection, and Jixing is in a very vulnerable position here. He has the ability to spin TP. But if the Wyvern gets close enough, that won't be the case any longer. So they'll just go, oh, it's going to be the Fiend's Grip Omni Slash. That will kill off the Ember, but it's going to be a spin TP immediately, and LL cannot interrupt it. So Juggernaut will make it home, and they'll trade 2 ultis and a Bane for their Ember Spirit pickoff, which actually works out pretty well. Just considering ESD were the ones to make that rotation, getting a favorable trade in terms of the metrics, you got to be happy about it.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So, we're going to be seeing 4 staffs galore, 1 on Wyvern, 1 on Gondar, and 1 on the Bane. X is going to try to bail out anybody that gets caught with the Searing Chains for the most part. And that might actually give them enough survivability to really make a fight happen. We'll keep an eye on Fan here. The Courier, he needs one. Oh, he needs one creep wave. One creep wave, he's got a Scotty. He needs to kill off a few creeps here, but he's now tracked and he might be in trouble. We'll see if that 4 staff maybe do some work here. As we do see Carrot going in, there's going to be the Winter's Curse with that blink wall, and X just can't do anything. He pushes them south, but that's not going to mean enough. The Shadow Fiend trying to charge up the Requiem, goes inside the snowball with Yang, and it's actually a huge Requiem as he turns around LL for a double kill. really good raises, great Requiem, and they wreck them! Oh, taking down 3 instantly, and Adong barely limping away with Wakesy also on the run. Oh, that was actually really impressive from the SF. Obviously, the Snowball was a big factor there. Snowball's up the Shadow Fiend. A little late, but better than never. They're able to keep the Shadow Fiend alive long enough to get that massive double Requiem nuke, or 1.5 Requiem nuke, out on the heroes in very close proximity. In the end, he still gets that Scotty. It's unfortunate he didn't have it before, though. He could have even cleaned that up without dying, I think, if he had the Eye of Scotty. But alas, you can't always get what you want, and 14.3k net worth isn't too shabby, considering the circumstances. So, they'll hold for now. The Undying isn't as relevant as he'd like to be, though, and that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, he's doing the best he can, getting some good soul rips out, has the Solar Crest now, working on dewarding with this Geometry site, but in the end, 31 minutes is where an Undying without any major items starts to feel pretty weak. Like, at least the Bane can do something with just a Force Staff, but the Undying it feels like he can't do much at all. The Flesh Golem, even level 1, goes to show that he doesn't feel like he can stand in the middle of fights. Because, you know, you would rank this ulti to get more damage amplification when you're closer to them. But he's usually at the minimum radius, if in range for the aura at all, and that's just not gonna change enough. So, he knows he's not tanky enough for it. Oh, blink back from Jixing. Oh, Shuriken canceling the TP. Now he can't spin TP away, and in fact, he's going to be chased down. Carrot actually surges himself instead of the TA, but it doesn't matter. Even with X being nearby, there's no Force Staff to save him. He is going to be caught out. He does get the blink, but the X Force Staffs himself, and the Courier actually gets picked off there. Now they keep on chasing, they keep blinking, they keep trapping, and Jixing in the end will get helped out a little bit. The mechanism, the distance, he wants a blink away. Manta dodge, can he blink? Could he actually do it? He blinks away! Oh, Jixing pulling a full-on Houdini, but at the cost of quite a bit. 2 Drak kills going against the Bane and the Tusk. They chase him down for a long, long time, but in the end, Jixing narrowly slipping away. Jeez. Omni Slash, blink, and a blink 12 seconds later. What a close call. But yeah, it's a big difference between killing off the Juggernaut and not here. The death timer is pretty substantial for the Juggernaut at level 19 here. And in fact, the Tusk gonna be back up in 30 seconds, no problem. I say that, but there is one small problem. It's Aegis, it's Roshan, it's going to ESD. There's no way esports streams can test this unless they buy back on the Tusk, and here we go. This could be a game-defining team fight right now. Everybody's going in a very clear pathway, but there is no Omni Slash. There's only 35 seconds for that cooldown, and Roshan, they got the Ice Shards down. We're going to see the Requiem come out on the outside. No, the Winter's Curse stops it. Look at that animation. We're going to see him wind it up again after the vacuum wall. Does some good damage, but not enough. He's taking a lot of hits from the TA, and he'll have to back out. Nice Force Staff back there. The Tombstone's on the high ground, doing some good hits, even in spite of the Ghost Scepter of the Winter Wyvern. Templar Assassin trying to do what she can, but she didn't pop her BKB for her first life. She's saving it for the second. The problem is, she's only one of 2 heroes left alive. Fun does go down to a very long-range strike, but there's that Omni Slash cleaning it up, and the Bounty Hunter dusted and run down as well. The Geometry site in their hands. Wow. ESD trying to do the best they can there. They had a good opening on the Roshan, and of course they did bring it down. They did get the Aegis, but I feel like TA needed to pop the BKB for the first life. Like, I understand that your normal line of thought is, I have Aegis, I don't need a BKB until fight number 2. But the problem was, at that point, there's nobody else to fight with you. You kill the Shadow Fiend, great, but you still end up using your BKB. It doesn't net you anything else, and yeah, you can't turn the fight by yourself. The Bounty Hunter is just completely useless in that situation. So I feel like the BKB on Life 1 would have actually given him a fighting shot at just actually turning the fight there and then killing off the SF before that Aegis timer came into play. Now it's just going from bad to worse for ESD. what looked like a clear advantage and potentially like a straight up like 30 some odd minute win against VG.P after a couple of great fights. I mean, starting around like 13, 14 minutes into the game and peaking at an 8K net worth lead, or 8K experience lead rather, is just shifting dramatically now in favor of VG.P after these last couple of fights. The Omni Slash has been really on point from Jixing. He now has an Abyssal Blade to lock down a BKB target. Could just jump the Ember Spirit if he gets a Blink Dagger. Oh, he does have a Blink Dagger. What am I talking about? He's used it 1,000 times. I don't know. The lag's getting to me, I guess, guys. Perfect world. Alright, so we've got the Ghost Scepter we saw on the Wyvern that's helping against Omni Slashes a little bit. She can Cold Embrace somebody else while Ghost Sceptering herself, so that's pretty good. Bounty Hunter's got the Lotus Orb, which can be great against Bane. What happens is the Bane Fiend scripts himself, and in the end, that cancels the Fiend script that Bane is casting, which is great. In general, I would say Lotus Orb is great against Bane. Not great against Tusk, though. The Snowball could be very valuable, but more often than not, I see the Snowball Lotus, and then you just use it as like a punch hook. The Tusk immediately runs as far as he can, maybe gets a blink away, and then suddenly your carry just got pulled all the way into the enemy line. So you really don't want to Lotus Orb against the Snowball if you can avoid it. And then, of course, you might be able to echo the Juggernaut ulti, which would be great. Some shenanigans going on there. As if it wasn't hard enough to observe these team fights. But yeah, we've got TA doing pretty well for herself, but she needs that next big item, and it looks like it's going to be the Butterfly. I really think that's a strong pickup here. All things considered, it should do a lot of work for her. You sometimes see like the Daedalus pickup, and that's great too. Obviously the burst potential allows you to maybe just start off a fight 5v4, but the Butterfly is definitely a less RNG dependent system. Like, you don't need evasion dodges to save the day in a lot of cases. You need crits if you buy that item. So the dice rolls don't have as much of an impact, and overall she's just in a good spot. The Mighty Sun Darkseer a long time back. Carrot got that along after the mechanism and after they got all that track gold. And yeah, it's pretty well paid for itself. I mean, level 16 now. That means he, despite the fact that he had to jungle for 4 of the first 5 minutes of the game, he still is, above the middle of the pack here in terms of his overall experience. On top of that, he's working his way quickly towards, I wouldn't say another Lotus Orb, I would say probably a Shiva. So if they got one, you don't need another. Obviously, the Lotus on the Abyssal is probably the thing they're looking for the most, though. And that's just, it's hard, but it can work.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
You saw Ember Spirit pushing down here. Jixing immediately TP's back, looks for that Blink Abyssal, and no siree, Ember's out of there in no time. So the end result is just a tier 2 tower push by VG.P. Continuing to bring back that net worth, despite the Bounty Hunter's track gold. Gem? 1 gem on the Radiant, 1 gem on the Dire. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. X, what are you up to here, buddy? Do we have a BOT level 2? No. Nobody has BOTs. BOT level 2 is a really cool thing to do with a hero in this kind of a position, though. He's got vision up to the line, and he just gets an isolated solo jump, and you can turn it into a quick 2v1. But here we see potentially a smoke coming through. It looks like, yeah, they've got it. They just had to clear out that creep wave, and now they make their move. They're not showing anybody on lane, so this might come for VG.P as a bit predictable. But if Fan fails to rejoin his allies in time, that might just be that 5v4 they're looking for. Adong on the front line here. Jixing in some trouble. They'll stay on top of him. Will he get his spells off in time? We're going to see Carrot, the Abyssal Blade coming out, the Tombstone dropping down, the Wall of Replica as well. The Winter's Curse does come out, though, and that is huge. To get the Winter's Curse on the Undying there, he'll just die immediately, and that's a 3-for-0 so far. Fawn getting a decent Requiem out, trying to TP away. The Searing Chains gonna catch him, or something else will. Either way, the biggest lag spike on the biggest fight, as we see 4 drop down. The Bane unable to get involved at all. He saw his allies just getting picked apart, and he's like, I can't do anything. I'm sorry. It's just regrettable, but, I mean, literally he nightmared and then he blink TP'd away. That's the only thing he could do. And unfortunately, he's the hero that cannot do anything to hold the high ground. Maybe enfeeble at long range, but even that's risky. So yeah, just overall, a great Darkseer wall vacuum, and the Winter's Curse came out at the time they needed it to. I mean, still, the Juggernaut had a very quick reaction with the Abyssal, but I think just overall, the Darkseer Wyvern combo is doing its job, and of course they started off the fight, like I said, 5v4, and with the Bane not contributing, the SF getting there late, it was a massacre more than a fight. We're going to see Juggernaut buy back. This is too many racks to lose, so they're going to go for this fight, but Refraction's up for the TA, and she is doing some pummeling on these racks. We're going to see the Wall Rest Punch come through here. There's Tombstone Zombies coming into play as well. Lotus Orb up on the Templar Assassin. That is going to be a snowball coming through, and that is going to be doing some massive damage if they could follow it up. But Yang, more so, is receiving that massive damage, and now LL is the target of choice. The Winter's Curse. No, he's going to get forced and ghost away. He's going to survive long enough to Winter's Curse onto Jixing, and Fan will turn against his former ally. They'll kill off the Juggernaut for a dieback, and now the Shadow Fiend will drop as well without using Requiem. The Tombstone expires and the death toll rises. ESD, with the last couple of fights, are cleaning up VG.P, and despite the beginning of a comeback, VG.P right back the other way. Lose game 1 to ESD. Wow. Wow. That was a hell of a series of fights there towards the end. ESD losing the Roche fight for the most part, but then really making up for it every moment after. And it really comes down to that opener that they did, the Darkseer Wyvern. While it's very transparent to draft like that, to open with such AoE wombo combo heroes, I gotta say, it worked out really well for them. I'm not sure if it's because of the lack of BKBs. Not a single BKB was purchased that game for the Dire, for VG.P. And I feel like the secondary effect of Winter's Curse, the fact that you can BKB that and not be taunted to attack your ally, I feel like that's really huge. And then, of course, along with that, the Darkseer, any magic damage, things like that, BKB becomes more and more valuable for those purposes. But the reason they didn't go for BKB was because they were still, in the end, up against Ember TA. Battle Fury Cleave, TA Meld Strikes, that's still going to go right through, BKB or not, and it's tough. It's tough to build that way. In the end, the Shadow Fiend chose Scotty. The Juggernaut chose his Blink, Manta, Abyssal type build-up. I can understand why they went the items they did. I'm just thinking I would have liked to see the team fights work out a little bit better. They went for a pick-off style at that late game stage when they probably needed a little bit more emphasis on team fight, but the fear factor was there. ESD had a hell of a team fight lineup, and they made it work in the end. That's going to be a 41.5 minute victory for Esports Stream, bringing us to Game 2 of this Best of 2 series. That's right, we got 1-0 for Esports Stream, but if they want the Esport Dream to be real, they've got a 2-0 VG.P. That'll make it a 3-point swing for them here in the early stages of Group A, rather than the 1 point they'd otherwise get. And for VG.P, it's a bit of a heartbreaker because they already drawed once in the Starletter I-League Chinese group stages. Yesterday, they went 1-1 against their opponents, and that's just not going to be enough. They really needed more than just the draw. Already, FTDA drawed against them, which is a team that I feel like VG.P outclasses naturally. And now, up against ESD, the same thing. Already down 1 game, and perhaps down 2. Oh my, VG.P need to very quickly get their act together going into Game 2. Thanks once again for tuning in. I myself am Blaze, broadcasting on behalf of Beyond